Buckeye Thursday here on the Ohio State Buckeyes on SI YouTube channel. Anthony Moeglin hanging out alongside my partner, former Buckeye Kevin Woidke, and there's a ton to get to today, Kev, as Ohio State's working their way through the beginning stages of camp. The pads are on, stuff's happening, depth charts are shaking out. I know we discussed that at length here the other day, but as we're getting a little bit closer to the season, there's a lot of stuff that is taking place down in Columbus, down inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. So before we jump into the show, a quick reminder, if you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure you do so. Go take 1 second, hit that button. It costs you nothing. It signs you up for nothing other than the fact that you'll be alerted every time Kevin and I come to you, every time we bring you a live show. And as we start getting a little bit closer, it's going to start getting into more X's and O's, which we are certainly excited for here. But Kev, still a little bit of ways out from that, as we're over 3 weeks away from that first game against the Texas Longhorns, and a big couple days down in Columbus as the black stripes were flying off of the new Buckeyes here. We had three big ones here the other day, or here the past couple days, and Devin Sanchez, the stud freshman out of Texas, Riley Pettyjohn, which we'll get into in a little bit, also from Texas, and then the newcomer CJ Donaldson in the backfield, all lose their black stripes and all get set to be not only just contributors, but key contributors to the Ohio State offense and defense.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, if you know me and you text me about the show and don't subscribe, how dare you?
Lose my number, right?
Sorry, Brendan couldn't be with us today. He was shearing his alpacas. So, duty calls. He's got to go do that. But, losing your black stripe's a big deal for Buckeyes. It makes you feel like when you're a young guy, you're part of the team. My freshman year, we didn't really have a whole lot of black stripes getting lost because we were trying to repeat both as Big Ten and as national champions. So we were focused on other things. I don't think we lost a single black stripe. I think like 3 people in my class did. And then after that, it kind of fell by the wayside a little bit as we started winning games and were undefeated up until Michigan State. It's a really cool experience. As a walk-on, as a walk-on, we were a little different. We would take it off ourselves. We'd have our own little ceremony, which involved we'd walk up, we'd see the helmets put in the lockers for camp, and we'd walk around and take the black stripes off ourselves. That was our.
That's a ceremony. That's Kev. That sounds like a ceremony that you probably led the charge on.
It was Joe Ramstetter and Devlin McDaniel taught me that. After my first spring, they took it off of mine. They're like, "Hey, this is how the walk-ons do it." I'm like, "All right, perfect." And really, being a walk-on and earning your ropes is just staying long enough because you're beaten to hell. You pay for it. The only time you get paid to get your butt kicked. And then, so it was a really cool experience to watch it. Thankfully, I didn't have to rip anybody's off because I don't know how I would have done it with those gloves. But no, it was a fun time.
No, even the story you shared on Tuesday's show about, the weeks in practice where maybe you had to take a handful of first team, second team, third team snaps and all that stuff. So you certainly earned the right to go rip your own black stripe off. But man, it looks really cool. Obviously, I never experienced it, never was a part of it. Just always been kind of an outside viewer of it. And it's always cool seeing the guys getting hyped up for each other and kind of becoming a Buckeye. I think that part's really cool. And the 3 guys that did it today, starting with Riley Pettyjohn. And this is a guy who kind of not as hyped up as maybe Devin Sanchez, who's got seemingly all of the hype surrounding him. But James Laurinaitis, in his media availability on Wednesday, talked about the fact that not only is Pettyjohn going to be a contributor for this team, in the weeks to come, but when they take the field against Texas, that he's going to be on the field, whether it's alongside Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese, which we'll get to here in a little bit, or if it's on special teams or wherever it may be. He's made such an impact in this short amount of time that, he is going to be a key contributor on that very first game, and that's a rare thing to see. We obviously got so spoiled with Jeremiah Smith last year, but Pettyjohn, along with Sanchez, who we'll get to in a moment, are likely going to be taking the field for Ohio State when they take on Texas.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's great to hear that. Who knows if it'll be on special teams, if it'll be next to him. I feel like the different defenses Matt Patricia is going to have, it could be a 3 linebacker. Yeah. It could be a 4 linebacker set, with just 2 D-line, 2 stand-up linebackers, whether that be CJ Hicks or even if that isn't. And then going a 2-4 set and then having the defensive backs do their thing. It could be really, really interesting, the different things that Matt Patricia could throw with his multitude of defenses that he has.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, and the multitude of defenses are thanks to the experience at every level, but the talent at every level. Like this team, even when you say CJ Hicks is going to be kind of a stand-up defensive end, like that's crazy because there's not enough room in that linebacker room to get him on the field. And you look at every single level, you look at the secondary, right? You got the best player in the country on defense in Caleb Downs, and I thought it was really interesting. And there's a couple pieces up, and I'm going to have one up later today. On our website, SI.com/college/Ohio State, talking about Caleb Downs and relating him to what Matt Patricia did with Patrick Chung in New England. And it was really cool listening to Patricia talk about, hey, you can use these guys in different ways. It doesn't just have to be, hey, one play, Caleb's in the post, and then another one, he's in the box. Like you can float him around, and he's smart enough to do that. But to be able to be so multiple in what you do, especially with your safeties, you got to have lockdown corners. And that takes us to Devin Sanchez, who stands at 6'2", 198 pounds, still a little thin, still got a lot of growing to do as he stands at as he's just 18 years old. We were laughing pre-show here, born in 2006, which really hurts. It hurts the soul, hurts the ego here for us two old guys. But Sanchez also from Houston. So he's going to take on his hometown, the home state Texas Longhorns in that first game. And if he can match the hype that's surrounding him, or even if he can get to 50% of the hype that's surrounding him, Ohio State sounds like they've got another dude in the secondary to be locking it down for years to come. Yeah,
I mean, you want to see what Denzel Burke was his freshman year. You'd love to see that again, where, I mean, it carried it all the way through his last year of how dominant he was as a freshman. I can't remember if he was a true or redshirt freshman. Either or, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, we have an abundance of riches on this in this defensive secondary. It's crazy to think about.
It's wild, and you can pair him up anywhere. He's currently behind Davison Igbinosun, who is going to be a guy that is going to be a lockdown corner in all of college football last year. He was last season, and he will be again this season. You pair them up.
Lockdown, or
so the stats would say lockdown. The stats, Kevin, would say lockdown.
You know what? He got the job done. I'm not going to say it until you didn't, but. I mean, that guy had more laundry on the field than I do on a Sunday when I don't.
Okay.
When I wash on, I mean, that's insane. Like that. So I think he was great, but I don't know. Going forward, he's gonna have to lock in because that's not gonna fly on Sundays.
They need to. I made a joke the other day with my buddies in the group chat. He needs to be practicing with boxing gloves on so he can't grab. Right, and because he's so long, and that's another thing too, man. It's like he comes back for that senior year, and let's take some time to kind of riff on him just for a little bit. You're a leader now, right? You're not behind. Not that he was ever behind or in the shadow of Denzel Burke, but a lot of everyone coming into last season was like, this is Denzel's secondary. Like it's going to kind of go as number 10 goes, and stuff kind of happened throughout the year. But now Igbinosun's in that role, and to be in that role, Kev, you got to be a lot cleaner and a lot crisper than I think he was potentially in the past. And I think if I'm a betting man, which I am, I think you're going to see an improved Davison Igbinosun. At least I hope so.
I hope so too. I mean, he's the inverse of SGA. Like where SGA draws penalties, he just he's like, what he reminds me of is he's the quarterback equivalent of Doug Deacon. Doug Deacon was a lineman for the Browns, and he held so much that his license plate, still seen driving around Cleveland, is I held. That's his legal license plate. I held. I mean, that's insane. You know what? He gets the job done. But I mean, I don't know if I can do that again. Like that that Texas game, like they were, it was the Penn State game. He got down to the 1 yard line. Thankfully, he had an interception, but it's like he just stacks them all the way up.
So I'm crossing two off of my Kevin bingo card tonight. I didn't think we were going to get Doug Deacon reference or an SGA reference in tonight's show. So you can cross those off of your bingo card here. But Avery Nosen, man, like that is certainly the one knock on him is that he is prone to the penalty. He's prone to the pass interference. He's certainly prone to the hold, and you'd love to see that. You'd love to see that go away. And I think that early on in the season, as Ohio State's trying to figure out what they got on the defensive line, and, they potentially are going to get tested, right away with one of the better offensive receiving corps they're going to see all season. It's going to be really important for him not to like grow into that, but to come out of the gates and playing in a very crisp way. So, hey, he's been called out now on this show. So now he's got to come out and show up and perform. And I know that secondary is going to be the talent there is insane. And it's both with the veteran guys like Ignosin all the way down to the rookies, to the freshmen coming in and Sanchez. So it'll be pretty cool. So, Kev, want to flip over to the other side of the ball. The other guy who lost his black stripe this week is CJ Donaldson. This is a guy that, at least on our show, we haven't covered much. We haven't talked about him much, but he's going to be, kind of in that Quinshon Judkins role that Quinshon found himself in last season, where he was behind Travion Henderson and ended up being kind of 1A, 1B. Not sure how it's going to fall between James Peoples and CJ Donaldson, but Ohio State has a little bit of a guy that's transferring in from West Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He averaged about 5 yards a carry last year behind a abysmal West Virginia offensive line. He had about, I think his last 3 seasons, so he had 22, carry the 8. He had 30 total. He has 30 total rushing touchdowns, 30 total rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. And he's got a tackle and an assisted tackle. So God forbid he needs a tackle. He knows how to do it. I think this will be a really good guy. Watching him play is more fun than anything. He ran hard at West Virginia, and it reminds me of Quinshon a little bit, where he just runs downhill. It's like those old school Ohio high school Tim McVeigh type running backs, where no matter when you hit them or where you hit them, they still fell forward for a yard and a half.
He's going to be that bruising type, and he looks the way. He's 6'2", 238 pounds. So he's like you said, he runs downhill. He's going to seek contact, and when he finds you, he's going to run right through you, right? Like yards per attempt, 4.5 yards per attempt. He's getting through the hole. He's not breaking it away. His long run last year was 48 yards. His long run, and that was the longest of his career, just a 48-yard scamper, right? This isn't going to be Travion who busts it for 75 and doesn't get touched and jukes out a couple guys and then finishes with some punch. This is a guy who, hey, it's 3rd and 2. You're handing it to Donaldson. You're getting out of the way. He's going to hurt you. He's going to hit you right in the face, and he's going to move the sticks. And that's kind of going to be the case when he's going to wear number 12, a little bit different from a number perspective. But when number 12 touches the ball, that's going to be a little bit what it is. But a really good, really nice addition, and one that was needed, right? That running back room is a question mark for this Ohio State team. We don't really know what it's going to be. And when you look back to last year, that was a big reason for their success. They were able to balance the game. They were able to balance their attack because they had Travion Henderson, who could go at any point. You had Quinshon Judkins, who could bust one at any point, and really made it easy for the passing game to kind of grow throughout the year. It's going to be a little bit of the reverse. The passing game may have to pull the run game along early as these running backs really find their way and learn how to be the bell cows for the Buckeyes.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to see him throw the ball, but if they're going to drop 6 into coverage to try and cover our DBs, you gotta run 5-on-5. You just do. Whether it be read options, because Actually, I don't even want to say it because I have no idea how fast these quarterbacks are.
Dude, it's a great point that you make, though, because like that's going to be a lot of it, right? The attention that, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but the attention that the receiving, the pass catchers are going to get. Obviously, Jeremiah, we talked ad nauseum about him, but Carnell, Max Clare, Brandon Ennis, like you're going to have to put 4, 5, 6 guys. You get 6 guys, back in the secondary, and you get a dime look, right? You're going to have to start bullying people up front, like you said, run 5-on-5. Running back, be your own blocker. I love when running backs have to go and make a guy miss or run through somebody. Marshawn Lynch said it best: run through someone's face again and again and again and again. But it will be interesting, at least early on, to see how they attack in the run game and how that run game meshes with the pass game. So C.J. Donaldson loses his black stripe along with Riley Pettyjohn and Devin Sanchez, and this team's kind of coming together. We're starting to get closer and closer to kickoff in that week 1 game, and the roster is really starting to formulate. So we go from the defensive side to the offensive side. Now back, Kevin, to the defensive side. And in the announcement of Riley Pettyjohn losing his black stripe, this picture surfaced of the Ohio State linebacker room, and you couldn't help but notice that there's 4 just dudes in this room, and it is a group that really could be a squad that led by Sonny Styles, led by Arvell Reese, that's going to be a name that I think, in my opinion, you're going to hear a lot more of this year. And then Riley Pettyjohn, and then Garrett Stover, number 26 here. He stands at 6'2", 240 pounds, but he looks like a grade schooler next to these guys. Like Sonny is going to be a first-round pick. He may not even be the best one in this group, man. This Ohio State linebacking core has some serious potential to be one of the better groups that this team has.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at those guys' stature, that – obviously, they make them look better for Instagram, but
be nice to the boys, man.
I know how the linebackers work. Come on. They're just big guys. Like Sonny Styles was bigger than most linebackers. These guys are the same height as him. It'll be a fun year. I'm expecting a lot out of Sonny. Sonny played out of his mind last year. And by that, I mean he played athletically, but he needs to play more technically sound. He's the leader. Cody Simon was the leader of that defense last year. He needs to be the leader of the defense this year. He needs to be the vocal leader, and he needs to lead by example, which is just what needs to happen. Yeah, and Reese, comes from Cleveland, Ohio. He's a Glenville tar-blooder, man. He's a guy that, and we saw it last year. He had that really, and unquestionable is a very nice way to say it, but really questionable targeting call against Nebraska, which just simply wasn't targeting. But stands at 6'4", 240 pounds, but he runs, man. He's going to be the most athletic cat on the field. And him and Sonny standing next to each other, again, we talked a little bit about what this defense could be. If Arvell Reese can be, even just as half as good as Cody Simon, you're in good shape. There's a potential that he could be, just the same player, or even better by the end of the year, because he brings a different stature and a different type of physicality to that group, man. And those two paired together, I think, could be a really daunting task for an opposing offense to look across. I agree. I don't even want to. I'm telling you right now, someone who would have to get to that second level and block him, I'm not someone who'd want to sign up for that.
No, that's the, and not much experience last year. He totaled out with 18 solo tackles, 25 assists. So he had 43 total on the year, just 3.5 TFLs. And really just didn't get the opportunity because, Cody and Sonny stayed healthy all year and didn't really need to do it. Ran down on the special teams. And that's the cool part about Ohio State. You got 4- and 5-star dudes running down on special teams. That's just the standard that is set there. But just a really cool, a really good opportunity in that room. And really, it's going to be really fun to watch because a good linebacking core not only helps the offensive line. It's just everything, not offensive line, the defensive line, but it really helps the secondary because you kind of fill up that second level. You make it hell on a quarterback. You make it hell on an offense when you got studs at all those positions. So just a group that will certainly we are going to have our eyes on here throughout the rest of the camp and as the season really gets going here. So along with all the good news, Kev, of some of the black stripes flying off and some of the hype kind of surrounding this team, some preseason awards were handed down to some of the Buckeyes, and it kind of started at the top. We spoke a little bit about C.J. Donaldson so far, but he was named as on the watch list for the Doak Walker Award, Doak Walker Award. Say that 5 times fast, for the top running back in college football. And then he was paired with our two wide receivers, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, being on the Biletnikoff watch list. And then finally, preseason All-Americans. We're going to go with 3, and then I'll let you take the floor with the 4th one. But Caleb Downs was listed as a preseason All-American. Jeremiah Smith was listed as preseason All-American. Sonny Styles, and drumroll please, the 4th one.
The best player on our offense, Max Clare. One of the most versatile guys you could see on a football field. Excited to watch him play. Jesuit grown. Love to see that.
One of the boys.
Yep. Preseason means all but nothing. So they really got to show out this year. I'm excited to see how Ryan Day utilizes tight end because he really hasn't had a tight end of this caliber. Not saying G. Scott, not saying Luke Farrell, not saying Jeremy Rucker weren't good tight ends. All phenomenal. But who was before?
Ooh. I'm going to need you for that one. I don't got the before.
Who was
that.
after Rucker before Scott? I think it might have just been Willie Kaz. But he hasn't had someone like this after. Right. So I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. And he isn't afraid to get there in the blocking game. Like he's not one of those guys who can be a liability when he blocks. At least not from what I watched, but we'll see. That's
it right there. Because if you can be a guy that stays on the field in 11 personnel, that can split out and be a receiver, but also can be extension of that run game, that's when you can get crazy, because then you can go 12 personnel, 13 personnel, where you get 2-3 tight ends on the field, and you can be heavy in the run game, but you can also be a threat in the pass game. And that's how you create those numbers. When you got guys like this who can be dynamic and be really successful in the run game and successful in the pass game. And he's proven that. And last year at Purdue, 51 catches for 685 yards and 4 scores. He's not doing that at a powerhouse school. That's a very, very productive season for him. Over his career, 73 catches for 881 yards. I want to stat check that because that doesn't feel right. But 2023, he did have an ankle injury that ended his season. So it maybe is dead set on there. But regardless, that he's going to be add an element to this offense that, like you said, has been kind of lacking. But I will say, did you see the catch today that Jelani Thurman had up the seam today? Did you see it?
I did not. I was working all day, so I was not really.
Oh, you said, Megs, you don't work. Yeah. So we. No, you're. Well, I'll send it to you afterwards. But a full layout diving catch, kind of a one-handed, almost 1 to 2-handed catch up the seam. Pretty good. And if you guys know our show, Kevin's going to absolutely love that. So some preseason awards going to the Buckeyes, but like you said, Kev, really don't mean they don't mean shit right now. You got to go out, you got to do it, you got to prove it all year long. So, Kev, we're getting out of here on this. I told you pre-show that I had a question for you that I wasn't going to prep you on, but allegedly there's been some movement in the media space. ESPN bought the rights to NFL Network, and with that, they bought the rights to Red Zone. Now, yesterday, Roger Goodell said that they're going to explore the option of doing a college Red Zone channel. Is that overload? Is that, hey, there's 3 million games on a Saturday? Is it too much, or is it absolutely the perfect thing in the world?
That's a tough question. I mean, my argument is, yes, you can see everything, but there's no college fantasy football, which is why you get red zone to stay on top of your fantasy players. Like, you get to watch all the big plays, but, like, unless you are a D-gen who's throwing on the likes of Ohio State all the way down to Valparaiso, like, I just also don't know where the line is drawn.
Where's the line?
Where's the line? Like, am I going to see a John Carroll blue streak?
Hey now.
Like,
Okay.
am I going to see a John Carroll blue streak? Absolutely Moss, Marietta Musketeer, whatever they're called.
Oh, very well. Hey, that's well done. That's well done.
That's just who knows, but I don't know. What I'm more concerned about is that I'm setting the line for the quarterback. This is for you to pick. Setting the line for the starting quarterback to over 250 yards against OU. 250 and a half.
So we're going 250 and a half. And shout out to let's get Marietta right, because they are the Pioneers. So shout out to the boys.
Pioneers.
There's D3. That's D3. That's just me.
It. I think they missed an opportunity there. Marietta Musketeers sounds great.
Marietta Musketeers does sound damn good. Yeah. So okay, we're going to week 3. All right. So we've done week 1. We did sacks against Texas, and you're on the over there, 3.5 sacks. And then we did quarters played against Grambling for our starters. And we're going to kind of cap it at kind of that starting group where it's going to go at 2.5 quarters. You were also on the over there. So I get 250 and a half yards against the OU Bobcats. So I think that game, first and foremost, it will be a 7 o'clock kick, which very funny, just funny. But I think the environment actually will be pretty cool. I do think by week 3, this could be one where it's like whoever's the quarterback, whether it's Lincoln, whether it's Julian Sayin, whether it's Tavian, whether it's Jeremiah Smith, they're going to be like, okay, we have to figure this out, right? Like whatever it is. And maybe it was a little clunky early on, which I do anticipate it being like a little shaky just because that's just the way it's going to go. I think you get into that one and you take your anger out, you take some frustration out on your little brother from down south. I'm going way over 250 and a half. I'm taking it over there. We'll just cap it at the starting quarterback.
Yep, starting quarterback. Whoever the starting quarterback is, that is who. And if they are rotating quarterbacks, but I don't think if they're rotating quarterbacks, don't they do that will be the first quarterback to play the first snap.
Up. I'm way over 250 and a half. So that has to put you on the under, right?
Yep, I'll take the under on that one. I think it's going to be a run-dominant game.
Oh, hey, CJ Donaldson gets rocking. He gets rocking and rolling, running downhill. I love it. Well, I love doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun here as we get closer here to start tracking that stuff and seeing who's on the right side, who's on the wrong side of our bets here. So we're going to get out of here on that. As always, appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with us for a little bit here on your Thursday. We got NFL football kind of starting. We got preseason getting rolling here, and we're just a couple weeks away from the week 0 kickoff, and then right after that, the week 1 kickoff in Columbus. It's going to be the talk of the town. It's the marquee matchup, Ohio State versus Texas on August 30th at 12 noon in Columbus. But getting excited for it. As always, a reminder, please like and subscribe to our channel. Go check out all of our written work, si.com/college/Ohio State. All right, for my partner, Kevin Woidke, I'm Anthony Moeglin. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on the Ohio State Buckeyes on SI YouTube channel.